Hi, this is Rob Polenick of Brutal Iron Gym. Today's workout was legs. I actually was traveling last week, and today's workout is the first workout back home, getting into the swing of things. Typically, when you come back from traveling, the first workout back, you're kind of working into the intensity you want. So usually people don't train when they travel, and instead of coming back and crushing your first workout and getting destroyed or injured, you have to kind of ease into it. I'm actually on the opposite of that. My wife Meredith and I, we traveled to Chicago. I got to work out at Quads Gym, which is one of the top 10 gyms in the world. I actually overtrained. I did like push pull legs, push pull, train like 3 hours every day. I did way too much. So it's just too exciting, too much fun when there's that many pieces of equipment and fun environment. And I was lucky that I had the time to do that. So I trained way too much. So my goal today was to bring the volume down and get good quality sets, but not worry about too much volume. So I started with some lying leg curls, just straight normal sets, 3 sets of 10 to 14 reps. I then did a circuit of calf raises on our hack squat, machine hip thrusts on our Nautilus glute drive, and then I did a standing quad stretch off of our Sornex Apex rack using foam rollers. So that was a good circuit. That, along with the hamstring curls, kind of took care of the posterior side of the body and warmed up my quads. And then my main quad movement was hack squats, and I did 4 sets of 10 to 14 reps there. So this is about the normal volume that I would do, but I usually throw in some intensifiers like cluster sets, maybe some rest pause, other variations, mechanical drop sets, weight load drop sets, do some other things. But today I just stayed with more so basic straight sets. And that allowed me to, as I said, bring down the intensity from what I've been doing the previous days to kind of work back into my normal volume and my normal intensity load. So today's workout is something that maybe not as exciting as what I would normally do, but it is still a very good workout. There's a lot of debate nowadays about, what is the right rep range and how many sets is too many sets. So it's always interesting to dance around what current research and current trends say. But if you've been doing this for long enough, so I started working out when I was 15, I'm 41, so I've been doing this for 26 years. I started at 165 pounds with higher body fat than I had when I've gotten up to 295 pounds. So when I was at 295, I had lower body fat percentage than I had at 165. I've gained a lot of weight. Right now, I'm sitting around 255. I leaned up a little bit from last summer. So I've put in a lot of years, over 20 years, and you see, all the research, all the science. So I started this stuff whenever there was no internet, there was magazines. And then the internet came along. You could watch some videos, and then people started doing actual research on these things. So what you'll find is in the extremes of what is said in today's social media, usually the best practices lie somewhere in the middle. The idea of intensity per set is to go like into good technique failure. So you don't want to do any more reps than what you can do right, but you want to do as many as you can possibly do right before it isn't right. And then working sets, I do like to present at least more than one. Typically, one working set represents kind of the best your body can do right now. Yeah, so there's not much of a stimulus for the body to change after just one working set. A second working set, you're starting to tell the body, hey, I want you to be able to do better than you can do right now. So it's starting to push that adaptation that you want from your training. So I usually like to do one more than that. So I usually err on the side of 3 working sets. Now you'll see in today's workout, I did 4 hack squat sets, and that was because I went a little bit lighter and didn't push as close to good form failure, since I am kind of working down from the higher volume, higher intensity in the previous workouts. So for that one, I just stopped a little bit short of good form failure. So throwing in that extra working set kind of made sense to balance the, plus and minus of that choice of bringing down the intensity but bump up the volume. So that would be my best advice is typically 2 to 4 working sets are going to be probably good practice. Rep ranges, I mean, you'll hear people say anywhere from like 5 to 30. Five, what I don't like about going that heavy and doing it too often is you do increase your risk of injury. Because if you start to dip into a little bit of failure, that's a really heavy weight and you can get hurt faster. And then also, you start to develop the stabilizers more compared to moderate weight loads. So if you're doing like a hinge based movement, say you're doing like an RDL, you're going to start to thicken your obliques, your rectus abdominis, your spinal erectors. You're going to start to thicken your trunk just to try to get to the glutes. So in order to support something super heavy, all the supporting muscles start to develop. So too heavy, you run the risk of injury and you start to overdevelop your supporting muscles. If you go too light, you start to run into more like endurance-based failure. You just can't breathe. Your muscles are burning like crazy. It doesn't necessarily mean they're being damaged in a way that produces new muscle tissue. So I do sometimes, dip down to 5 reps. Sometimes I'll go up to 30 for sure. But the bulk of my work is typically between, I'd say 10 to 20, maybe like 8 to 14. So maybe like an 8 to 20 range. So cut off a little bit on this end, cut off a little bit on that end, and that's probably where you need to stay. So typically what you'll find is the extremes are presented as extremes to get views and likes and social media popularity. But the majority of what actually works is usually right somewhere in there. So that would be my words of wisdom for today's video. If you give this workout a try, I do think you will like it. Just take your time, focus on good mind-muscle connection, staying under control, pause at the contractions, focus on quality rather than intensity and chaos and volume. If you have any questions, if you need anything at all, you can always put questions and comments in the comment section below, and I make sure I respond to everybody. And that's it. Okay. Thank you for watching.